Namaste. As we are all aware, National Curriculum Framework has listed 5 developmental domains for children, and they are physical development, cognitive development, language and literacy development, socio-emotional ethical development, cultural and aesthetic development. Now these domains are further divided into curricular goals, and there are about 12 curricular goals into which these 5 domains are divided. And these curricular goals, as we all know, are divided further into competencies, learning outcomes, and then the activities that we perform in the class to achieve these learning outcomes. So today I am not talking about these 5 developmental domains. In addition to the above curricular goals, based on domains of development, developing positive learning habits is another learning curricular goal that is given in the NCF. Now, when I say developing positive learning habits means children develop habits of learning that allow them to engage actively in a formal learning environment. It can be in the school or also at home. Now, when we are talking about developing positive learning habits, the most important thing that comes to my mind is what happens inside the classroom and what happens when the child goes home. Because the teaching and learning or the understanding of the concept may start from the school, but then it has to be consolidated after children goes home and reads the textbook. Now, in a textbook driven system that we are having a textbook where the curriculum is given. The way we read the textbook, we don't tell the children how to read the textbook effectively. Just reading the textbook is not enough. The textbook has to be read in a proper manner to understand the content that is given in the textbook effectively. Now today I am going to talk about how to read a textbook effectively. Now, as far as textbooks are concerned, children also read lots of material. It can be in the form of storybooks, it can be in the form of articles. Children may be reading magazines, children may be reading newspapers. But the way we read all these material should be completely different from the way we read a textbook. The reason behind this is a textbook the content is very dense in a textbook. And whatever pages the textbook is having, the content is given in a very compact and dense manner, and lot of information there is packed into this textbook. Another important or salient feature of the textbook is that textbook maintains a certain form of hierarchy in the form of chapters or in the form of units. So if you are reading if you are reading a storybook or a newspaper or anything, you can skip a few pages, it doesn't matter. You can skip a few stories in a storybook, or you can skip a few pages of a newspaper and start reading from the last page. It doesn't matter. Whereas in the case of a textbook, it's not like that. Since the chapters and units are given in a hierarchical manner, if you skip the first chapter or the second chapter, the third chapter, the continuity is lost, and if you are directly going and reading the 5th chapter or the 6th chapter, you may not be able to understand the concept properly. So it's very important to make the children understand how to read the textbook properly. And most of the schools I have seen, they don't teach how to read a textbook. We tell the children, okay, this is what is to be read. You go and read this from home and come. But then we don't exactly tell them how to read the textbook effectively. When we are going to read a textbook, if we want our children to effectively gain the concept or effectively use the textbook, because it has got we have a curricula, the content, the subject, the things are all dense in a textbook. So if we tell our children how to read a textbook properly, I think that it will be very useful for our children. Now, when I'm talking about reading a textbook, it's very important to talk about focused attention and diffused attention. And it's also very important for our children, teachers and parents to understand what is the difference between focused attention and diffused attention. Now, the methodology to read a textbook, to make the child understand the methodology to read a textbook, is very important in this 21st century, wherein we talk about creativity. We want our children to develop problem solving abilities. We want our children to think critically, think creatively, have a new perspective, and also to connect different kinds of observations. So that is the importance of reading a textbook properly in the context of NEP 2020 and also our NCF. Now, first of all, we should understand what is the difference between focused attention and diffused attention. When we are talking about focused attention, I can say that it can be focused reading. I can also say focused attention and focused reading. So when we are talking about focused attention and focused reading, it is concentrated on a topic. It is our attention or our mind is focused on a particular topic or particular problem. Mind is concentrated on a particular problem. Now, the second thing that is happening in a focused reading is that it is an intense work for the brain, because there is a concentration on one particular point or a one particular problem, or it is a very, very intense work for the brain. Next thing is focused attention is very useful when we are trying to solve it's very important when there is a logical reasoning problem that has to be solved. For example, if we have to solve a mathematics excuse me, if we have to solve a problem in mathematics, our mind has to be concentrated on that particular concept and that particular problem. If we allow our mind to wander here and there, we will not be able to solve that problem. So there the attention should be definitely focused. Or another example is writing an essay. When we are writing an essay on a particular topic, our attention should be focused on that. So there the importance of focused attention comes. Now, as far as focused attention is concerned, the neural pathways, the understanding of a concept occurs because there is a connection between the neurons. So there is a focus is on, in focused thinking and focused learning, the focus is on a narrow set of neural pathways, only concentrating on that topic. So it should be intense, and there should be lot of focus on that particular concept or that particular topic which we have chosen. Now, coming to diffused thinking or diffused reading, if I may call it. In this case, it is the thinking is more relaxed. it is not all that concentrated. It is little bit relaxed, and the mind is allowed to wander and visit different kinds of different, it is, mind is allowed to think about lots of other kinds of things also related to this, but it is allowed to think about different kinds of things. So what is happening in diffused thinking is that the child is developing different kinds of perspectives. The child is able to think creatively. The child is also able to solve problems, and the child is able to think about different perspectives about the topic, and also make connections with some other subjects. Like we say, we give lots of importance to connecting different subjects with one another. So there, in our diffuse thinking, this is possible. And also in diffuse thinking, as far as our neural pathways are concerned, the neural pathways, there are different neural pathways which are working here. It is not, our mind is not only focused on a narrow set of neural pathways. There are a wide set of neural pathways which are working together and consolidating what has been learned by the student. Now, why I am bringing this topic of focused attention or focused reading and diffuse reading is that in the light of NEP, NCF, what we should be doing is, there should be, we should ask our children to oscillate between focused thinking and diffuse thinking. The proper way to put it is, proper way to do a reading in the context of NEP 2020 and NCF is, first once the concept or the topic has been taught in the class and the children are asked to read at home, what they should do is, because learning, as we all know, it happens with whatever previous knowledge that we have. So there has to be some kind of previous knowledge that is happening in the school, and then only children can build on that. So for that, after the teaching has taken place in the school, what is to be done is that first there should be a skimmed reading. For example, if the child is learning chapter number 11, the chapter number 11 has to be read in a, the child has to skim through that. That is the first step of reading. Then second step should be, the child should be reading with focus, emphasizing on the concepts that was taught in the class. So then the child totally understands, and he is able to, whatever he has learned, it is consolidated. The third step of reading should be the diffused reading. Now in the diffused reading, he is able to connect different kinds of, connect different dots and develop his own perspective, or develop a different kind of perspective towards the problem or the topic, think critically, think creatively, and also be able to solve problems. So that is the reason why we say there should be the child should be asked to, the mind of the child should be oscillating between focused attention and diffused attention. If I may say, focused reading and diffused reading. So today in this video, I have discussed about how to read a textbook effectively. Hope this video will be useful to all the children and also to the parents and teachers who ask the children to read the content